It's the hardest thing to give away, and the last thing on your mind today. It always goes to those who don't deserve. It's the opposite of how you feel when the pain they cause is just too real. It takes everything you have to say the word forgiveness. It flies in the face of all your pride. It moves away the man inside. It's always anger's own worst enemy. Even when the fury and the judge seem not a right to hold a grudge, it's a whisper in your ear saying, set it free. Forgiveness. 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 Show me how to love the unlovable. Show me how to reach the unreachable. Help me now to do the impossible. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Help me now to do the impossible. Forgiveness. It'll clear the bitterness away. It can even set a prisoner free. There is no end to what its power can do. So let it go and be amazed. What you see through eyes of grace. The prisoner that it really frees is you. Forgiveness. 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 Show me how to love the unlovable. Show me how to reach the unreachable. Help me now to do the impossible. Forgiveness. I'm gonna finally set it free. Show me how to see what your mercy sees. Help me now to give what you gave to me. Forgiveness. 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 Forgiveness.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Mark. Forgiveness. Well, that's very timely. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. But first, I want to welcome you, the warmest of welcomes, to Unity of Bay City, a positive and powerful path for spiritual living. It's wonderful to spend this beautiful morning. I'm here with our Zoom host, Nancy, there in Zoom, and our platform assistant is Stacy. And our musicians this morning are Stacy, Mark, and Marcia. Our audiovisual team in the house today is Kevin and Greg. And our usher, Mike, with some help from Tony this morning. So thank you for joining all of us here and all of you on this beautiful Sunday, November the 8th. Goodness gracious. All right, so just take a nice deep breath as we open in prayer this morning. And just center in our heart space. we open our hearts and our minds to the healing power of God. That is life itself in its many expressions. Now is the time that we allow the swift and powerful action and activity of Spirit to move through the universe, drawing in to our world thoughts, behaviors, ideas, people, experiences that will bless and prosper this earth and all of its inhabitants. We let go now, and we know it is so, and gratefully so, gratefully so it is. Amen and amen. And now let's share our vision here at Unity of Bay City. There we go. And we don't want this to become something that we just say because we've memorized it. I'm not very good at memorizing things. I guess that's not a very good affirmation, but I like to feel it. So let's say this together. United in spirit and grounded in the divine, we are a beacon of light for the world. And our mission, we are one community, looking within, reaching out, and practicing the principles of love. Practicing the principles of love. And now I'm going to turn this over to Stacy. She's going to share our annual theme and the daily word with us.
I will, if I can get to it on my screen. Sorry, I'm going to jump on my phone here because my screen is not getting me to it. I apologize. Our daily word for today. Well, let me back up. I'm sorry. I'm Stacy Groove. Thank you. Welcome to Unity of Bay City. I'm glad to be with you today and provide support to Reverend Gail and everyone that's making today possible for us, even in the sanctuary and virtually wherever you are. Our theme at Unity of Bay City for 2020 is 20,000 ways of kindness. So let us know the ways that you have practiced kindness or that you have witnessed kindness so that we can add those to our 20,000 ways of kindness basket. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. And our daily word for today is healing. And the affirmation is, I embrace the healing flow of divine life. Will you repeat that affirmation with me again? I embrace the healing flow of divine life. If my body experiences any kind of health challenge, I turn within to release all fear and all concern as I affirm that illness is not part of my true identity. I remember that wholeness is my birthright as a spiritual being. I surrender any anxiety as I fill my consciousness with healing thoughts. My mind's eye sees each cell of my body aglow with the energy of divine life. In prayer, I express appreciation for all of my body's marvelous functions. I commit to taking time to bless my body with rest, exercise, and good nutrition. I speak affirming words of truth to encourage my body's healing response. I give thanks for the healing that I know is already on its way to me. I am grateful to receive healing and know wholeness. And from John 10:10, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. And together our affirmation again. I embrace the healing flow of divine life.
Thank you, Stacy. And so as we contemplate those beautiful words from the daily word, let's move into meditation with those thoughts and feelings, with embracing the healing flow of divine life. And so as we recenter and focus on the breath, not changing it, not doing anything special, just observe it, just feel your breath breathing you, life itself breathing you. Move your shoulders a little and let the tension just fall away. Feel the tension release. If there is any, allow that healing energy of divine life to flow within you now. As you continue to gently focus on your breath and notice any sensations in your body. Just notice. Watch your thoughts as if they were little fishies floating by, swimming by in a beautiful, clear stream. Just observe them as your thoughts. Acknowledge thoughts. Just with the word thoughts or thinking, and bring your focus, your attention back to the breath. How amazing this body is. As your body and mind move into a quiet stillness, we can begin to remember that our true nature is stillness. It manifests itself within itself as a rising tide of silence, a flowing stream of peacefulness, sheer stillness. Even with the fishies swimming in front of you, the stillness is all pervasive. The deep listening of quiet contemplation is the path to stillness. All words disappear into it, and all creation awakens to the delight of just being. Just being. Breathing in and breathing out, focusing on the breath, allowing the stillness, the deep listening of pure, quiet contemplation. Be gentle with yourself, for you are living through a major expansion of your faith and how you use it in this world. You are living through a major expansion of your faith and how you use it in this world. You are rewiring decades of old beliefs and shifting how you live your life in this new and awakened world. Breathe that in for a moment. Breathe. Focus on the breath. As we live our life in this new and awakened world within us, this is not a small feat. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. Great change brings with it discomfort and second-guessing oneself. As we sit in quiet contemplation, we do not shrink back from this mission. Not now. You are changing your divine self, and it is shining the way. Go back to the breath and feel anybody's sensations. Feel how those words felt as you listen. And now we go into the silence and listen deeply, allowing ourselves to come back to the breath. When we feel our mind running astray, running amok, we come back to the breath in the silence. Go back to the breath, breathing in and breathing out. You are safe in this here and now, and in each holy instant. You are whole and holy right here and right now. God is within you, all around you. You are loved and loving. As you breathe in and out, you are reminded of the give and take that this life brings to us. Take a nice, big, slow breath in as it is comfortable for you to do so. And move a little bit in your seat. And as you release that breath, gently open your eyes, letting go, noticing the surroundings, feeling the energy of love in this room as it circulates in and through us as us now. And so it is. Amen. And now we have the pleasure of Stacy bringing us special music, People of Love. Thank you, Stacy.
We are the people of love. Let us people love today. We are the people of love. Let us people love today. We are one under the sun. Let your heart see it this way. Love is something as free as the wind. I'll give it to you and I'll give it again. We are the people of love. Let us people love today. We are the people of love. Let us people love today. We are the people of love. Let us people love today. We are the people of love. Let us people love today. Love today. Love today. Love today. Love today. Love.
Yay. Thank you. Stacy, thank you. A cappella and, live at home. It's pretty amazing how our musicians, our music team has stepped up so that we can stay in protocol, stay safe here without live music, but with live music. So it's pretty amazing. And we are the people of love. If ever there was a time that unity's message, that the heart of unity expressed and came to fruition, is now. There's just so much to say and so much to feel in this magical time. This year has been a year of awakening. Is it not that comfortable a lot of the times? Yeah, it's not that comfortable all the time. But we go back to the breath. Even in the middle of the day, we can go back to the breath and find that center, find that love, remember who we are. Well, this is week 5 of our 6-week Fall Faith series, Living Originally by Reverend Robert Brummett. Wonderful little book, not something you buzz through reading because it's deep and it's rich. And he guides us through 10 spiritual practices, which you can access the meditations very easily at unitybooks.org/living. And you can meditate along with Robert. But this book guides us through these principles. And the first few chapters were the why. Why should we do this? What's the deal with spiritual practices? And we know that. I mean, this is a spiritually mature audience here. You know the why, really. How we all get tangled up in that, I think, because we think we're not doing it right. Because it's such an inside job, you know, you don't sit and meditate with somebody and go, how's that? Am I doing it right? You know, wait, what? You can discuss it afterwards and say how you feel. And that's really helpful too, other people's experiences. But the whole point is experiencing God, experiencing your heart, experiencing prayer. And we can't do that by just talking about it. So why am I here? Just to remind you of all of that. Now, the first 2 weeks, 2 practices were the foundational ones. Unconditional, what was it? Radical self-awareness was the first one, and deep self-acceptance. And these are self-centered, self-related practices that are the foundation for everything else. So radical self-awareness is about watching and listening to your thoughts and feelings and being non-judgmental observer of the self. It's practice. Deep self-acceptance isn't about just falling in love with yourself, but that's part of it. It's about this moment being enough. It's about not resisting or judging or ignoring the thoughts and feelings as they arise. Accept a deep self-acceptance of where you are in life in this moment. Where you are right this moment. And so today we're going to add on that and build on the foundational practices, the other related focus, as he says. And that's unlimited forgiveness, universal benevolence. I love that word, benevolence. And compassionate communication. Now, none of these 3 are something that's like, oh, I've never heard that before, because it's all very mainstream. And it's, if you've been in unity at any time at all, this is very familiar. But again, we go from our outer reading, studying, and talking about it to the experience of it. And Robert says over and again, it's easier to practice than it is to explain, right? You can tell somebody all day long how to ride that bike, but until they get on and experience it, they don't know what you're really talking about. Mechanically, yeah. Okay, I get on, I balance, or I have training wheels, you know, and all of that thing about balance. And how do you explain that? You experience it. So forgiveness is the first one, and it's a very basic spiritual principle, one we talk about a lot in unity. And why we do that is because when we're harboring things in our heart and in our mind, it's not good for us. It's not good for our energy, our physical internal energy. Symptoms of unforgiveness are thoughts of revenge, harsh criticism, avoidance or rejection of another person, or a feeling that someone is bad or wrong. And that includes forgiveness of yourself, because we are our own worst critic, aren't we? Why did you do that? Oh, you idiot. Now, the things we say to ourselves. Oh. So as you practice self-awareness, you'll see these ongoing feelings as a sign of unforgiveness. And it's not bad or wrong to feel that way. See, that's the other thing. It's not bad. It is what it is. And that's the radical, that's the complete self-acceptance. But you can begin to understand how harmful the ongoing anger and resentment is for you. You know, sometimes the person that you're upset with doesn't even have a clue that you are, right? And here you are just raking yourself, just hurting yourself, being so resentful or angry. True forgiveness is not an action after the fact. This is good. True forgiveness is not an action after the fact. It is an attitude with which you enter the moment. Our life is about relationships. We need each other. So if we go into that with an attitude, a different attitude, we make it easier on ourselves. We enter into the attitude or practice of true forgiveness, and it is an easier transition into unlimited forgiveness. There's no conditions to unlimited forgiveness of self and others. You no longer harbor resentment. And this does not mean putting up with any kind of abuse. You might have to love yourself enough to change your outer circumstances too. And that's about listening to your higher self, listening to what is working and what is not, setting forgiveness aside. But it's difficult to forgive without condition. Especially like when you trusted somebody and they weren't in integrity like you expected them to be. We don't know what other people's values are. Sometimes we don't even know what our own are or would be in certain circumstances. Have you ever been bullied or emotionally or physically abused? Nobody has to answer that. Or someone you love has experienced it. Your peace of mind, your body is healthier when you can absolutely forgive that person. Forgiveness, though, is like the grieving process. It takes whatever time it takes. And that's where you go back to honoring and loving yourself and your process. Well, as I was sitting in this, practicing these practices, becoming aware, I don't like to just stand up here and talk about something that I haven't experienced. Well, I've experienced plenty of times in my life where I held on to resentment, to anger, and it really was making me sick. So I just went in and said, okay, how am I doing? Because, most of that stuff was so many moons ago. So I sit and I just ask, have I really forgiven them at a deep level? And then I noticed, and this is what we do in these practices, we simply observe and notice our thoughts. Did I get a hit of emotion when I thought about a situation or a person? Anger, what was it? Frustration? What am I feeling? What's this sensation? I did get a hit there. I know I have more inner work to do around this. Be okay with that. Deep self-acceptance. There was a person I worked with many moons ago who was a classical workplace bully. And I had never experienced that in a workplace. I choose very carefully in my listening to my spiritual self where I've ever worked in my life since I was a teenager. Well, every once in a while, when I try to lead instead of follow my spiritual guidance. So this particular person was the same management level as I was and was peachy keen around the boss, in meetings and stuff. Everything was just lovely until she and her teams and I were in a meeting together or meeting one-on-one, and the witch came out riding the broom and cackling. That's the way it felt. So I even went to HR because it wasn't just me that this was happening to. I was the manager of quite a few people, and they were being hurt as well. Some of them had gone to HR about this person. So I went to HR and I said, look, this is what's happening. What can we do about this? And they said, people come in here all the time about her. She's just that way. And then she straightens up and then she's fine. But boy, she sure is a good producer. You know, we get a lot of mileage out of her. They didn't say it that way. And no action was ever taken. Well, I left certainly well before she did, because again, I don't allow the abuse. I go inward and say, what's the best situation? What's mine to do here? To stay and reform her? No. It wasn't about me. It was about her. And I left. So I still get a little bit of flare up there. I still, you know, that it's almost like that movie, the movie It's a Wonderful Life, where the bad guy really never got called up, you know, the old man that was robbing the town, you know, I don't remember their names. It's like we want the bad guys in our opinion, to suffer, to have a comeuppance. That's our human response. And so I put her back on my prayer list and set my intention for unlimited forgiveness. Still working with that. Universal benevolence is our next one. It's derived from the Latin word, which means a disposition of goodwill and kindness. Well, isn't that unity personified, right? That's who we are. Even though we may get angry, even though we haven't gotten sainthood, you know, yet, aren't it? But we talk about here, like our theme is 20,000 ways of kindness. It's easy enough to feel benevolent towards friends and loved ones and all beings when life's going well. But this practice isn't so much about feeling benevolent as it is cultivating the intention of benevolence, kindness, goodwill. Cultivating the intention, that's what we've been doing this year. And that's what all of us have, this habit of kindness, this habit of looking for the good, this habit of looking how we can serve. It's our holiness shining through. It's our being able to serve without any accolades, any notice, but doing those small and sometimes big acts of kindness. The practice is also about keeping your heart open as often as possible. And this quote says it nicely. If you want to lead a pleasant life, be good to yourself. If you want to lead a happy life, be good to others. If you want to lead an exceptional life, be good to everyone. And that's by Mashona, and in last name I can't even begin to pronounce. Bless that person. So then we move on. Take a breath. Okay, here we go. Running through these. Compassionate communication. Now this practice, of course, just like all the others, they're tied beautifully together. We have our foundation of our radical self-awareness, our deep self-acceptance, and on these habits of thought, on these ways that we can observe our thoughts, that we catch ourselves, not like, like, oh, I see. Oh, I heard what you said. Okay. It's tied closely with benevolence. It's thinking and speaking and writing with kindness, with compassion. It's a process that connects us deeply to our own internal experiences and the deepest part of ourselves. We say words have power. Our thoughts have power. Our thoughts turn into our words. That's what this is. It has the potential to transform relationships, our culture, and most importantly, ourselves. We got to be able to live with self peacefully. That's got to be our first priority. Compassionate and communication includes speaking and listening, reading and writing. It incorporates our previous 4 practices, and they are key factors here. Right speech actually is a Buddhist teaching. It refers to that which supports spiritual practice and leads to transformation. It's not a rule or a commandment. The Buddhists don't really do it that way. It's not about one right way. It's about, what's my favorite saying? Paying attention to your attitude when you're communicating. And you see how they all ripple, how they all work together. It's about attitude, intention, attitude, intention. Going back in, checking in with yourself. How was this day? How was this day? Did this day feel good? Was I grumpy all day? It's okay if you were. Some days are just like that. Some days bring us a lot of outer stuff to be grumpy about. Gosh darn it. But the guidelines for right speech are, so before I speak or write, I ask, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Right? So this, again, this has to be some kind of habit, because you're not going to have a conversation with somebody and be going, wait a minute, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Okay, got it. So, the flow is why we practice. Is it true? Is it true as far as you know? Is it your opinion or gossip or maybe a little exaggeration? Is it kind? Are you judging harshly yourself or the other person? Are you speaking down? Are you being a bully? I can't even. Is it necessary? Would it really matter if you shared it? Would it hurt the person if you told them? The right speech is we get to set the intention, be aware of our triggers and our point of view. Are we rigid in that point of view? We don't have to be afraid of somebody else's point of view. If we flow, if we keep our heart open, if we allow ourselves to speak our truth in a kind way. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Compassionate listening is just as important. Everybody needs to be heard. Everybody needs to be heard. So are you a good listener? Do you interrupt? Are you just standing and thinking about what you're going to say back to the person and you check out about halfway through what they're saying? Do I let my mind wander? Do I formulate my answer? The far enemy, as it's called in Buddhism, of any of these core practices is to communicate without violence, without judgment, or lack of communication, of compassion. Because when we don't, it screams, I don't care, really, I don't care how you think or how you feel. So what is the core? What is at the core of the far enemy, the things that trip us up? Going unconscious. Thinking we've got this. I've got this. I know this stuff. I've studied this for 40 years. It's nothing new. We get to be renewed every day, every moment, because life changes that often, right? That's why the core practices begin with radical self-awareness and deep self-acceptance. Have you ever met Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? Have you ever been Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? Robert used a great example in the book. He was at a meditation retreat, and he gave a lot of those and attended a lot of those. And it was with a group of people that from various forms of using various forms of and practicing self-awareness. And he said the communication was just peachy. It was everyone was aware and very civil and compassionate until they got to one subject. Yeah, politics, which we shall not talk about here. Then everything changed. Many of the formerly compassionate and serene individuals seemed to quickly morph from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde. Have you seen that happen? I have felt that happen in me. Because it can be a particular person or an event that trips us up. And Robert said, it takes me into the black hole of unconsciousness. Have you ever been there? Yeah, we've all been there, haven't we? And we go back to that hole in the sidewalk. So in closing today, I want to stress these last few points. We are so divinely human. I call it our humanality. Please know that we are not striving to perfect our lives through spiritual practice. The intention with all spiritual practices is to gently become more aware of the places within us that need to be healed, need to be loved, need to be heard and expressed. The person who needs you to be aware and awake the most is you. You, darlings, you. Your entire life, as you are out in the world, living this life of yours, the good, the bad, the in-between, through your laughter and your tears, taking time to rest and reflect inwardly on your precious life. You grow in wisdom, in love, and light. The world is easier to handle, easier to come back to your original self. And finally, this quote from Parker Palmer. When faithfulness is our standard, we are more likely to sustain our engagement with tasks that will never end, doing justice, loving mercy, and calling the beloved community into being. Thank you, my beloved community. So it is. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Gail.
Stacy.
Thank you. That was a great message as always. So many things that always hit home for me when I listen to you, and from this book especially. I'm learning lots from Robert from it. This is the time in our service to share of our financial gifts and tithes for this ministry. And if you're joining us for the first time, let this celebration be our gift to you. Thanks for joining us today. There are several different ways that you can contribute to Unity of Bay City. If you are in the sanctuary, there's a basket in the center of the sanctuary that you can drop your donation in. You can also mail a check or use the donate button on our website, or talk to your own personal financial institution about setting up an automatic payment to Unity of Bay City. Thank you for your continued support. We are grateful. Please join me in stating the affirmation for our offering together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am enough. I have enough. There is enough. Now we get to have some special music, a recording by our own Marcia singing Count on Me by Bruno Mars.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. We find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, and I'll be there. I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. If you're tossing and you're turning and you just can't fall asleep, I'll sing a song beside you. And if you ever forget how much you really mean to me, every day I will remind you. We find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, and I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Whoa, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Always have my shoulder when you cry. Never let go, never say goodbye. You know you can count on me like 1, 2, 3, and I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Whoa, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You can count on me, 'cause I can count on you. Love you.
That was great. How fun. Thanks, Marcia, for that. That was fun. What a fun song that is. You can count on me and I will count on you. Let's take a look at some of the upcoming events at Unity of Bay City. Our Fall Faith auction is coming up, and this year's auction will take place on Zoom on Friday, November 20th at 6:30 p.m. So we're still looking for some new or like new items for the auction. Please contact the office or Tracy Bliss if you have an item to donate for the auction. Also, our nominating committee is currently on the lookout for possible candidates for our upcoming January board elections. Being a board member is a rewarding service both to the ministry and to oneself. So if you're interested in serving as a nominee and you are a registered member of UBC, or even if you just have questions about board service, see the nominating committee chair, Mike Mercer, or call the office.
And be sure and save the date. You can believe it. December 4th is Advent by Candlelight. We're going to have a nice program that Nancy and I will do via Zoom from our homes, and are inviting everyone to have your table set and your heart open on Zoom, and we can share together in that way, or on Facebook Live. We stream over there. So I also wanted to mention that this November the 11th, this week, is Veterans Day. And so we get to honor our veterans. My husband loves this day because, you know, you can go all over the city and get free stuff. And we haven't had one here. So in Boise, well, he'd get a haircut, and then he'd go to breakfast, and then so it was quite fun, but all in honoring the service that so many of you, we have a lot of female veterans here in this community, and we are so grateful for this beautiful nation and for those who serve and protect. And I also wanted to, I mentioned November birthdays last week, but I think we've just had a birthday. Terry, and I'll embarrass you, had a birthday yesterday, right? And Stacy, you never told us when your birthday is.
to signal that without having a without having my microphone on. It's the 13th, yeah.
It's Friday. Friday the 13th. That's my girl. Yay, so happy birthday. Anybody else that didn't speak up last week? Can't see everybody. All right, so happy birthday to our November birthdays, including my baby sister. And so we now will pray together our prayer for protection, and then we're going to sing God Bless America again after this, so we can stand and honor our nation. We've got a new president-elect, and I know that's on a lot of hearts and minds. Joe Biden and Camilla have seen some beautiful posts, but just keep in mind that love always wins. Love prevails. It doesn't matter what the political side is, and I'm not saying this is because of the presidency or not. This is our truth, no matter what. No matter how we disagree, like Robert's example about politics, it can bring up a lot of, because we love this country and we all have different opinions, and that's okay. To share those from the heart and work on our forgiveness of self and others, including our government. And so, with that in mind, let us share our prayer for protection together. Together, the light of God surrounds me. I am light. The love of God enfolds me. I am love. The power of God protects me. I am power. The presence of God watches over me. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And now if you'll join me in standing, we even have a flag here, and honor the serviceman that is singing God Bless.
On behalf of each person in attendance tonight, to welcome back veterans and Wounded Warrior Project. And now for the introduction of God Bless America, let's join public address announcer John Hewlett.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now take a moment to sing God Bless America. We are led tonight by retired Navy Petty Officer First Class Generald Wilson.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the lights from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Wow. It's great.